Really nice to meet you. Thank you for bearing with us while we do a quick change from 1 into 2. We are into this room. So you're in the creativity room. I hope that's where you want to be. It definitely is if you're going to listen to Jade here any second. My name is Steve Kemish. I am here to do moderation. That essentially means to get out of the way as fast as possible so you can listen to Jade and other speakers. Your roles are very simple. You may remember a more pleasant time before AI and prompts. This is a human full of talent and technology capability. She is prompted by AP. That's called applause. So we will use that in a minute to get her going. She will say some great things. You will listen, you will stare, you will be happy. If you want to talk to Jade afterwards, we'll talk about that at the end, and you can also ask questions. If all you do is just take it in, absolutely fine. I really hope you enjoy this. So Jade, there are people you meet in life that can walk the walk and maybe talk the talk. Then there are people you meet that have also ticked the talk, walked the walk, won awards for it. So CIM Marketer of the Year, one of the top 100 influencers in the world of B2B marketing, one of the very few people that runs a TikTok B2B marketing channel, B2B Jade, well worth following her on there. But whilst she's not there, she's in actual human form, here to talk about simpler times when it comes to B2B marketing. If you remember what AP stands for, please use it now, and welcome Jade.
Thank you. Hello. Okay, get the clicker. Thanks so much for coming today. I'm B2B Jade, and I run a company called the B2B Breakthrough Academy, which is a private mentorship. I'm a TikTok influencer, if you can call yourself that in B2B marketing. And I also have a podcast called the B2B Marketing Gap. So the best way to connect with me is either through B2B Jade on TikTok, on LinkedIn, I'm Jade Tambini. And you can also visit my website to learn more about me. So just to introduce what we're going to talk about today, I want to talk to you guys about why... Hi, Sophie. Oh my gosh, my TikTok friend's here. I'm so happy she's been there from day one. Okay, I want to talk to you about why marketers are not getting results and what we can do about it. And I believe and know that the answer is about simplicity. So we're going to talk about that today. So first I want to talk about this issue of taking comfort in the complex. I've got a friend I used to work with, and whenever I ask her, how's it going at work? She's like, it's chaos. Oh my gosh, it's carnage. And I'm like, oh, that familiar feeling. And so not to necessarily say this is her situation, but when I reflect on my years in corporate, I think to some extent I did take comfort in the carnage. It kept me safe. It kept me safe to say, the leaders, they're putting everything on me, they're dropping things on me last minute, the brochures, they're literally not going to believe it, the events, we've got 3 exhibitions in 2 weeks, it's unbelievable. And in some ways, when I really reflect on that time, it did keep me safe because I was able to say, we're not getting results because there's just too much going on and it's your fault. And we could, I don't want to use the word whine, but I did. I whined. I went home to my husband, this is awful, they're just making my job so hard. So I really want us to reflect on how much of the carnage and chaos actually could we control if we were able to learn the mindset tools to step up and change things. Because complex kills creativity. The more things you're doing, the more new tools we bring in, the harder it's going to be to make them work. So I know that if I have got a dozen different technologies that have just been piled on me because sales think it's cool or the CEO saw a competitor doing it, I know I'm not going to have those creative moments. Now, if you're a real true marketer like I am, you have those moments. You're sat in traffic in your car, you're listening to, I don't know, it's Flume for me, and you have these brain waves of a solution, like a problem that's going on. Why are we losing customers? Why are we losing customers? That's it. I can't wait to speak about this. But if your brain is fogged by, what are we going to do with this tactical thing? What are we going to do with that? What about this deadline? That creativity goes, that magic that we have. So when it comes to how we're moving forward so rapidly, and rightly so, we should be looking at new techniques and technologies, and we should be supercharging what we're already doing. I truly believe that we're in what I call the convenience con. So the more things that we're taking on, we feel they're making life more convenient, but actually it's making life more tricky. So I like to live simply. I'm actually going to prove to you with a sound why I'm not buying into the convenience con. I actually don't own a smartphone anymore. My phone does this. Can you hear that? That's literally my phone. I have a 2003 Nokia, and my life, I navigated London yesterday with this as my phone, and it was fine. I went onto my computer at home, I looked at how do I get from my hotel, from Liverpool Street to my hotel and to this event. I printed off the instructions, and it was beautiful. No pings, no notifications, and so really the idea of convenience con is this idea that we can do everything from the palm of our hand, but it's actually complicating our life. So I live by this simplicity of life. I've got the phone. I'm pretending it's the 90s. I'm actually seeing Alanis Morissette tonight, so it will be the 90s. It will be the 90s. But simple is scary. I'm actually scared today to stand and talk to you guys about going simple. I don't use any jargon whatsoever in my mentorship program. There's not a single fancy, fluffy marketing model. We learn all those in our degrees. We learned them all with the different programs we've taken, which are all fantastic and worth their weight in gold. But I don't use jargon. I don't use fancy words. I say use instead of utilize. I'm proud of that fact. So simple is really scary, but I want to be the plain vanilla girl. I don't want the cherry on top. I want us to get back to basics and have the confidence to stand in front of a leader and say, we're not going to be taking that one on because we don't have the resource to do that. I want FD energy. You know when an FD says to you, that's not going to work, and we're not going to do that because that doesn't work for us financially, and you go, okay, that's fine. I trust you. We need more FD energy about us. No is no. We're keeping it simple. So I was consulting. I worked, my career in marketing started in the year 2000. I know, I look young to be doing that. However, I was 12, and I was working in my dad's publishing company. He was like in magazines, and so I was making cold calls with his team. That's probably illegal, but everything was fine then. I got a sales job in 2006, and then I went into corporate marketing in 2009, and then I left a big company called DS Smith PLC in 2015 after being an international head of marketing role. So I did a lot of client-side time. I started consulting CEOs in 2015, and the biggest thing that stuck out to me was marketing's crap. They're not doing their job. And I've hired 6 marketing managers in the last 3 years, and all of them are useless. None of them get leads, waste of money. So I started saying to them, that's not very nice. And I decided to stop consulting them, because everything I told them to do, they would overcomplicate. They would come back to this idea of, but leads. I'd be like, you need brand positioning, you need to have a better lead journey, you need to have your CRM in order. And they wouldn't do the basics, they wouldn't keep it simple. They just had shiny object syndrome. So I ran an experiment. I decided, do you know what? I'm going to start chatting to the marketers themselves, like Sophie on TikTok and anyone else here who's a TikTok friend. I started talking to them and saying, look, leaders aren't respecting you. I started making fun of leaders and salespeople on TikTok. So if you want to feel better, have a look at my TikToks, because I get sweary about salespeople. It's really cathartic. And I built a simple funnel. I thought, what would happen if I was able to do what I know will work in marketing and build a business around this without someone cocking it up, basically. So I just had a TikTok channel, a podcast, a simple email nurture funnel, and a checkout. And for the first 6 to 9 months, pretty much nothing happened. So I carried on with my on-the-ground networking to get my clients. After 6 months, I was like, there are real signs of people engaging with me. Sophie saying, this is amazing. I've never heard anyone resonate with me like this. How can you encapsulate how I'm feeling so much? It was all about feelings. After 6 months, power hours are booking, more power hours, more power hours, more power hours. And I'm like, there's too many. So I built a program, B2B Breakthrough Academy, to provide the templates and the toolkit and the mindset motivation to be one-to-many, proved how well this concept worked. And people might argue, okay, but that was like a 250 quid power hour. Come on. Yes, but it led to really big marketing projects for the agency I partner with. I had the confidence to stick to one thing for really ages and ages and ages and ages. I got the positioning right, the messaging right, grew to 50,000 followers, got brand deals with Adobe and LinkedIn and others, and sold out my first launch of my marketing course. So I knew that simple could work, and I really believe that if we can strip everything back and get simple and stop trying so many things, we can really make an impact and really get results. So it turns out people didn't need more, they needed clarity. People were saying to me, I'm drowning in work, every day is a new struggle, I'm completely thrown to the wolves, working 3 jobs in one. TikTok is safe because your boss is not going to see these comments. They constantly address symptoms and not causes, perpetual shiny object, no vision, obsessed with doing. Thanks so much for this. Same thing happened to me, it kills concepts. Thank you for sharing that. It's actually comforting to hear someone say that. This is exactly my situation. I'm a marketing manager being tasked with every marketing function and being asked to create a strategy. So people wanted clarity. They were sharing with me how they felt. And so I think the reason that I've always been able to keep marketing simple is that my background is sales. So it just made me ruthless about what works. And I think when you run your own business, you haven't got time to mess around with things that don't work. We had fewer choices back when my phone came out. It was like I did 100 phone calls a day. I got 2 demos and 1 sale, and I rung the bell. It was like Wolf on Wall Street. It was the best time ever. It's not as many drugs. It was simple though. Marketing was over there. There was a clear strategy, direct mailers, events, really good email trail, like email nurture funnels. So when I come off a call, I could trigger an email funnel. I mean, the marketing in this company, it was actually credit safe, was better then than a lot of our companies now. And that's because they were like, we've only got 4 things available. How do we make them amazing? How do we make our emails positioned perfectly? What's the best hook? How do we improve open rates? But when email is just one of your 20 things, you just don't have bandwidth to do that. So I like to take inspiration from 2006, even though my cold calling is TikTok. Because when you think about online content, I am actually just a sales girl putting out my cold calls on a platform called TikTok. So I get to the heart of the issue straight away. What I often see in organic content that doesn't work, people say you need ads for content these days. No, you need good content. Organic content does work. But if I say, hi, I wanted to share something with you today about what I'm thinking about the future of marketing. I had a thought yesterday. No, my videos will start with a hook. The reason a marketing manager is going to struggle to get results and be respected by their leaders is not because she isn't talented, it's not because she isn't working hard, it's one of the following 3 things. And it gets that attention. They're like, which one am I, which one am I? So really it's about how do we make our content our salesperson. But what it looks like today is just marketing activities that aren't converting, meetings where we are presenting metrics to make it look like it's some semblance of working, kind of decision fatigue. Like even today, I encourage you to explore the amazing solution providers here, but I also ask you to first have a think about what that clear strategy is going to be. There's a pressure to be everywhere. The CEO comes in. I came out the dentist today, and our competitor was advertised on the roundabout. Why aren't we advertised on roundabouts? Okay, I'll put it on my list. Or, oh, I'm not sure if that would be, maybe, I mean, I can look into rugby pitches as well. In Wales, it's all rugby pitches. So the pressure to be everywhere stems from our, not inability, but the comfort zone of that chaos and not being willing to say, we are not advertising outside your dentists. So why is it happening? The B2B marketing gap, the name of my podcast, the massive void between where leaders are and what marketers are doing that should be filled with a strategy but isn't. So marketing managers are operational people and we're being asked to deliver a strategy. But the problem with head of marketing and marketing directors is that we were trained by those who came before us. So the company we're in doesn't have a strategy anyway. So you're just a more senior person who's doing all this stuff, being pulled pillar to post. So the title says marketing director. I'm glad some people are nodding because I don't want to insult anyone. the title's as marketing director, but we're still treated as tactical project manager, like the guy said earlier. So there was a marketing maturity report that came out in 2024. I love these slides. This is when you all start taking notes and taking pictures. So 67, this is from the Marketing Centre, and there were nearly 2,000 participants. 67% of SMEs have no marketing plan and are marketing in the dark. That hit me hard. Like, marketing in the dark is how it felt, just doing stuff. 50% have not got a business plan. This is reflected, the students within my mentorship, they tell me that. They're like, I've done the marketing review, Jade. I asked these questions, they don't know. I'm like, wow, do you want to be there? Majority said their business has no way of establishing how marketing contributes to business goals, and only 40% have a CRM system in place that actually works. More options equals more waste. So companies are ineffectively spending between 40 and 60% of their digital budgets. This is from a company called Proxima. I've never heard of them, but apparently Bain and Company are like McKinsey, and they're a really big deal. So maybe what they says is true. And yeah, a lot of companies are investing in marketing tools simply because they know they should. Terrifying. But they're not utilizing technology correctly. And this was okay in 2006. Like, there's 5 things. You should be using them. And now there's millions. So how can we get simple again? This is where we're going to get practical. I'm going to give you some takeaways. So part 1, okay, and this does follow the rough format of the program I take my members through. But in terms of your marketing review, so when we're writing a marketing strategy, we need to start with that marketing review, okay? So we don't want stats that are only to impress. And I say this with love because I did this. But when we're going into a meeting with leaders and we know that our future depends on how they perceive us, we tend to build a deck that shows marketing in a really good light. And I actually had commercial directors overlook me and say, that sounds really bad, Jade. No, you can't put that in there. Change it. I'd be like, but it's the reality. So we'd make ourselves sound good to get through the next quarter. What we need to do is eat the frog. I don't know how you describe that metaphor, but people say all the time, eat the frog, get the uncomfortable thing out of the way. We've got to face reality to move forward, so we have to show them. The reason our pipeline is leaking is this. The CRM is broken. The reason we are not getting leads is this. There is no brand. There's no brand. No one knows us. We're just selling. It's horrendous. The reason our content is not converting is this. So being like open about the failings can really be helpful. So one of the first things I encourage you to do is do an honest marketing review. Feel free to message me anywhere, LinkedIn, TikTok, if you're worried about doing that. Always happy to chat. We need solid marketing objectives in the next stage. So they talked about in Keynote, it's all about MQLs. Everyone just wants MQLs, get MQLs. So for me, sales want to see the objective generate 50 leads within a 3-month period. But I would suggest a better objective would be better understand what our target customers want and help the business be set up to achieve that. So that's a broader objective. And this is the objective program that I follow. You may disagree with it, but it works really well because then we do have a key result under that. It's not because almost going for your key results straight away is more the symptomatic issue. So yes, we'd like to increase retention rate and get more customers. I don't want leads, I want customers. How do we get more customers? And then our success indicators would be things like number of inquiries. So that's a lead. It's just a success indicator. But if we focus on that objective there, better understand what our target audience needs and build the business around that or set the business up to achieve that, we will focus on the real issue. Because I consulted a business once and they said, Jade, we need leads. I said, tell me what's going on. They're like, we've got to get 10 new customers within 4 months. I said, right, so why do you want leads? Well, that's how you get new customers. I said, okay, how many companies have you pitched in the last 10 years? You've been going 10 years, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Right, let's figure that out. Look through all your data records, pull up all your quotes, get them in a system. Let's re-engage all those people. They smashed their target within a few weeks in terms of meetings booked to talk about projects. There's no leads involved at all. So what do we want? We don't want leads, we want customers or increased retention or whatever else. We need a realistic marketing budget. Typically, I suggest 4 to 8% of revenue. How do you figure that out? Well, there's loads of different sources, all roughly. Some say 2 to 5% of sales revenue. Some say 8 to 20%, really depends. On average, B2B companies spend about 11% across all industries. But most of us here are like 1% or less marketing budget, which means you can't outsource, which means you do it all yourself. And if you're doing too many things, that's a real issue. So we need to focus on ambitiousness of our growth goals, aggressiveness of our competition, and the size of our brand challenge. So those are the 3 factors to look into when deciding what your budget size should be. So in terms of picking our marketing strategies, what we need to move away from is taking on everything we're given, getting inspiration from other companies, like they're doing it, we should do it. We want to select the simplest route from A to B. Owner, what you want. I want people to pick us, not them. Positioning. Figuring out what's the simplest route. And then not panicking last minute when it comes to presenting your marketing plan and stuffing loads of things. We'll also do YouTube. No, we're going to do 2 or 3 things really well. Align with what came before. Reflect back on that review, back at the objectives. Is everything lining up? Bare minimum measurement. I am crap at marketing measurement. I hate it so much because I instinctively know what will work in my company. I know you can't do that when leaders are involved, but I really encourage you to keep it simple and measure what is necessary. So pick a few business scorecard metrics, 2 to 3, and just literally a couple of metrics per activity. What next? Okay, so we're going to get our leaders to buy into what we've done. We're going to stand there. Our body language is important. We are going to be more FD. We're going to clearly say the process we've been through. We're going to remind them what they told us in the review stage when we asked them what was needed. We're going to talk to them about the budget, what's possible. We're not going to use marketing jargon. We're not going to say utilize instead of use. We're not going to say drive revenue. We're going to say get revenue or get more customers.
What does FD mean?
Sorry? Oh, finance director. Sorry, I hate when people do that. Not call out, just not say, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to give an example of that whole process real quick. This sounds like a good idea. Business challenge, boss says we're losing customers to cheaper competitors. Marketing objective, let's achieve an 84% retention rate by the end of the year. Strategies, let's use price promotions because they're obviously going to cheaper competitors. So let's try and get repeat business. We'll do an email campaign to promote this, and we will nurture more in 3 months in lead up. And then measure email open rates, number of meetings to discuss renewal. This is just plastering over a bigger issue. This is what most marketers who join my programs start with in terms of how they're tackling objectives. This is what I would be doing. We are losing customers to cheaper competitors. Marketing objective, let's better understand what customers want and help align our business with that. Key result, retention rate to 84% by the end of the year and achieve 90% ideal client fit on new clients because we don't want this to be a recurring thing. If we're attracting the wrong people who are leaving us for cheaper, we have an issue. Strategies, customer insight program, find out what they want. Positioning overhaul to tackle the price sensitivity. Why are people coming in and then leaving us because we're not as cheap? Attract the right people, customer education programs, build customer success video training library so that once they join, we're in. This is what you're getting. This is why it is what it is. Run Google and LinkedIn ads to new target personas. I just made these up. Measure. Customer satisfaction levels, lead to sale conversion rates, all these things. That's the type of thinking we want is broaden it out. The cure to all of these issues, I believe the cure to every issue we are facing in B2B marketing today is that we need to build a simple strategy. If there's one thing I can give today, it's that. Scrap the, wipe the slate clean, start again with a simple strategy. And if you'd like to learn how to do that, I do have a video training, which, by the way, my product manager told me should be for sale for £99. But I didn't want to do it because I want you to have nice free things. So if you scan that, you're going to get a nice little guide with those steps broken down. But I do have a 40-minute video training as well, which will help you make a bit more sense of it. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Please connect with me on TikTok or LinkedIn. And thanks. Thanks so much.
I'm always fearful of that box. Put it down. Amazing. We've got time for a few questions. Audience participation time, just to kind of read the room. Hands up who wishes there were more marketing channels for them to play with. Right, okay, so we have the room. Good. So many things stuck with me, Jade, but I really like the idea of just do the 4 simple things, right? Back to simpler times, Nokia 2003, Alan Morris, Alanis Morissette, and everyone else.
Yeah.
How does that translate to, some of us in the room might go, look, whatever size of organisation I'm in, I'm probably doing more than that.
Yeah.
Are there some obvious steps, whatever you do within this room, that say, look, this is how you can start these conversations with people?
Yeah, I think the wipe the slate clean thing is really good. It's just an open, honest conversation with ourselves and the business to go, it's not working, let's slow down. I've done an audit of everything we've been doing, these aren't working, just kick things out. You know, it's easy for me to say because I work on my own, but I will. If things don't work, I just kick them out, gone, not doing it anymore. It's draining me or it's not working. So it's just about that open, honest conversation. So, and CEOs have emailed me to say, since so-and-so has joined the program, I'm amazed at how much more strategic they are immediately because they've just stopped. But when we use jargon to go, oh, the thing is, when we do this, if we do that, they can see through it. They know it lacks confidence. And so I do think actually stepping up and saying, it's not working, what can we do?
So that takes a bravery, right?
It does. Yeah, it does.
And that's good, because but brave is done in groups. And I think whether it's through what Jade does, whether it's just from talking to Jade or talking to other people today, I suspect we're all in the same bracket, which is there's an awful lot of pressure on us. There's too much technology. There's so many channels, so many people trying to do marketing when I'm trying to do marketing. We're all in the same boat.
Definitely.
Now, we've got time for a few questions, and I have a roaming mic that sounds very cool. And of course, the mic is as far away from possible. Come on, Luke, meet Mark. Mark Schwakey's got a question for us. Mark, kick us off.
Thanks so much. Hello.
Hiya.
Thank you, that was brilliant. There is we're not the only ones that are, I can't remember how you said it, but we're attracted to complexity and sort of seduced by that. Are the people that pay us, and then the people that look after them. So our leadership and our boards are always, even in an era where we're being told to do more with less, we're being given fresh ideas for new channels every single day. Now, if you work in an agency or a business, certainly an agency, somebody is going to come in with a brilliant new idea every single day.
Get out.
Yeah.
That's what I say to them.
Well, you can. Don't do that.
Also, just in the interest of being like the BBC, agencies, you're very welcome today, all right? Just stay a little bit.
No, I mean leaders.
I know.
Leaders say they've got a new idea. Not agencies.
But the point
Leaders welcome too, not FDs though. No.
Somebody above all of us is going to come in with a brilliant new idea every day for something that has to happen, right? They'll have seen it all, right?
Yeah.
We need language like yours, not just for the people you train. We need language for those above, that sit above everyone.
Yeah.
I think that the language you use should be, is there any way that we can, look, I'd love to do the course, but I think there's a thing in adopting the language you use to have a conversation upwards to convince, because I think they think they're being growth-minded, proactive, and if you're not trying more, I think I'm pretty sure I've been sacked in the past for not doing enough when I know that doing more is going to get us, doing less is going to get us the way. So how do we start adopting your language upwards as well as for our peers?
That's the biggest thing to start with. So it's, I love this idea. I love what you're saying. Tell me about what led you to want to solve this. What's it? So I had a salesperson once say, we need stickers on waste bins because people are driving to work. I say, great, tell me what the issue is that you're trying to solve here. People don't know us. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go away, I'm going to look at our brand awareness strategies, I'm going to come back to you with some ideas. So you're not saying, we're not doing that, it's a waste of time. We're saying, love it. And salespeople love this. Carwyn, that was my sales guy. Carwyn, I love your ideas, you're a visionary. I'm going to come back to you. And he'd be like, oh, yeah. So it's not about messing around, but yeah, that's what I would do, is I would talk to them about the deep issue.
That is how you manage men, by the way, just full stop, whatever the job is. We've got time for one more question. Anyone else want to ask a question? Okay, so in that sense, I'm going to give some instruction, which is, so Jade, as she said earlier, she's off to see Alanis Morissette in Cardiff. If you're lucky enough to do that, you will see her there, perhaps, but she may not want to talk shop, nor will you. So you've probably got about 20 minutes, half an hour before Jade does need to hot-foot it back to Cardiff. If you can't get to her, then you can see the ways you can get hold of her on TikTok. And she wouldn't say this because she's not a salesperson, she's marketing, and I'm not either. But if you use the phrase Ignite 100, I am told there's a discount on some of Jade's programs. So Ignite 100 if you're interested in that. But base level is just give her a round of applause and follow her somewhere. Thank you so much, Jade.
Thank you.